My name is KIMBALL Hooker from the Bay Area. And the sounds of the guitar come in. I love it. Nothing better than to make somebody smile, especially through music. I just like to be a part of it. I never forget some of the people that I met. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited today here at KCAT 15. We're in Los Gatos, Montessorino, and you're here live with the KIMBALL Hooker Show. KIMBALL Hooker. And, you know, we're here to talk about music, and we're here to talk about things that have happened here locally with different artists and things like that. But, you know, we have a special guest today. And I'm so excited because I've known her for a few years. I do have a past with her musically, and I just feel like everyone needs to understand who this person is. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to read something here. Okay, Angie Maserati. Angie Maserati. Angie Maserati. Wait a minute, I know her. She has such a beautiful spirit inside and outside. Okay, when she sings, it's so infectious. Like, you get chills when you hear this lady sing. This lady sings so well. I'm putting a lot on it because you're going to hear it for yourself, and she's going to back it all up. This lady has music all over the world. Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, 14 different singles with some of the biggest names in music, like, just to mention, Mr. Peter Michael Escovedo. Okay. There's so many, I can go on and on and on. We're going to get into it with a live interview, but I just want to make sure that I do her justice, because people need to really, really understand the love she has in her vocals, and how long she's been doing it has been forever, like 20 plus years. Without further ado, my good friend, Mr. Angie Maserati. Mrs. Angie Maserati. Yay! I'm so excited to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. It's awesome to be able to share who you are, right? The person behind the music, and how you got here, and what it looks like, right? And how individual it is, and what a journey, and how exciting, even in the moments that are tough and grow you, just right. The magic in all of it. It can inspire you. Wow. You know, if that's what you're looking for. Right.
Yeah. What's the biggest joy that you take from what you do, from your art?
Oh man, it's joy. It is just joy.
It's your joy.
Yeah, and I discovered that, thankfully and awesomely, as just a little girl trying to, you know, sing along with my mom's records, and, you know, Linda Ronstadt and Dolly Parton, and
those are big names.
Big names. Yeah. And there I was, right. You know.
That's cool. That's cool.
I sent my sister a voicemail this morning, and I said, tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn.
Wow, look at that. That's off the cuff, yeah. You guys.
And that was just inspired by really, really needing my cup of coffee this morning.
Wow. Angie, I have a question that I ask everyone. I have to ask you too. Did you pick singing, or did singing pick you?
I feel like we are creators of our life. And from that stance, I feel like I listened to the joy that it brought me.
Right.
I mean, I could be in my room for hours alone and just singing and trying to figure out, how do they do that with their voice? Wow. What are they doing? How come I can feel it? How come I can feel them and their emotion and passion, but they're not even in the same room? Like, what is this magical, transportive?
You like that feeling?
I loved it.
It never got old.
It never, ever gets old. It feels brand new. It's like that song feels like the first time.
Wow. Oh boy. I get it. I totally get it.
I know you get it.
I totally get it. Okay, so let's digress a little bit. So take us back from the very beginning. How did you get started?
So I took it from the, you know, my own private bedroom concerts to I think school.
Okay.
School, like trying out for a school play.
Okay, so we're talking grade school, high school?
Grade school. Like,
wow.
I think it was about third grade. And I didn't get the part because, you know, things can be political.
Okay.
And so-and-so's mom was the one always volunteering in the office and bringing everyone cookies and stuff. And not that I'm saying my talent was better or anything like that, but I did feel a little robbed.
A little passed over?
A little passed over. But I still remember the song. It was a Christmas play.
Christmas play? Wow.
Want to hear it?
Humble beginnings. Let's hear it.
Okay. Oh, Mrs. Claus, you've got the blahs, but don't be blue. 'Cause I love you, oh yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Would you pick me, Kimball?
I would pick you. You know what? I would pick you over anyone, anytime, anywhere, because of your smile is infectious, number one. It really is. I mean, if you guys could all see this lady smile, you'd smile just because you're looking at her smile. So, okay. So I have a question for you. Are you more like, you sing covers, you write your own music? Are you more, what do you have out there that is actually, that speaks loudest from you to the people?
So definitely the songs that I penned myself. And I'm a lyricist. I don't have an actual like create the music background. I don't play an actual instrument. I create from a tune that just plays in my head. And so there's like a basic melodic flow to my then writing, you know, getting the form of the song. And then I'm able to literally like voice memo that to Peter Michael, and he just gets me and creates that magic.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
We have a meeting of the minds, he and I.
That's big. You can't buy that. That's priceless.
It's so priceless, and it is so magical. Like even on this last song, Long Days, I thought, you know what, the flow of the story, it needs to have like this. In the chorus, I've got to switch it to like a beautiful day. Like it's a new day. Like, you know this now.
Wow.
And you can't unknow it. And you're going to be just fine and wake up to, you know, who you are. And I didn't even pick up the phone and say it. I thought it. We talked the next day and he suggests it.
He got it. You guys are on the same page.
It was like ethereal. It was,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's priceless, because you know how many people you will work with and never find that?
Yeah.
You know this all too well. You'll work with so many people before you get to that person. It's like a marriage, right?
Yeah.
And you can't go to Walmart and get that. You can't even get through some referrals. It just is or it isn't. Right?
It's energetic.
Special. It's very special.
Yeah, it's an energetic match, and I feel like spiritually we're energetic.
Okay.
You know, and stuff. So I just feel like yeah, there's just a meshing of a vibe,
right? And
it really does create like the most magical things. I remember when you and I were in a band.
Right.
I don't know if you want to count or.
I remember those days, but this is all about you, not about me.
But there was a reason, like. We totally gelled.
We did.
We supported one another.
Yes.
We just like it was so easy to be on stage with you and create, you know, the music that we made at the time.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. You know what? Since that time, we've both grown, and
my God,
you've been like to Italy and all these other places. We'll get into that, but I want to talk more about like the projects that you've done. You know what I mean? And what's the progression from where you started to where you're at now? Take us through that.
Right. So it's kind of a part of it's a familiar story, I should say.
Okay.
That when you are on this path and you're a creator and you don't have you're very trusting.
Right.
And to be trusting is beautiful, but to trust the wrong people, there's a learning moment there. Right. It's an ouch, and it's like a learning moment. So early on, I did a couple songs way early 2000 that I've never released them or anything like that. They're like my first like babies, and that was a beautiful experience. And so you take that and you move forward. I was gonna begin recording again, and you know, I just wanted to transfer that beautiful experience. Like everybody I work with is gonna be just awesome, and support me and have my best interest in mind. And I ended up working with someone who wanted to, you know, he was getting paid, and on top of that, wanted to own it, wanted to just meddle in the production of the video, was inappropriate with me with physical boundaries. And, you know, it just, I had to end up taking this. I took the song and I ended up actually going back to that very first awesome person that I worked with way back early 2000s. So this was like 2017. I created a new song called New York City. Right. And then
I love that song, by the way.
I know.
I love that song. The subway, the whole, I saw the video. I'm giving it away too much. Sorry. I'm giving it away too much. I just want to interrupt one more time, and I have to say, I love you.
Thank you.
No, I really do. You know I do.
You know, it was such a vision of like, oh my God, I could feel it before it even happened. And everything fell into place. Like the people that showed up for me to like make the video and everything happen, and it totally healed anything I had gone through with the production of the actual song. And because I learned. Right. So there you go. Very valuable. Very valuable lesson. Moving forward to creating that video and twirling. I haven't counted how many times I twirled, but it's got to be at least 300 times in the video.
I didn't count them either, but I was like in awe of the twirl, right?
Oh my God, I'm twirling all around, like Times Square, Grand Central Station, Central Park, by the Brooklyn Bridge, just in the streets without a care in the world. I was, oh my God, I've never.
Are you living your best life?
Yes.
I can tell. It's infectious. I can totally tell.
Oh my God. So good.
You know what I love about you the most? You're not afraid to do it. You're not afraid. There's so many people that they look at you, right? And they go, I sure wish I could do that. You know, they have that, they see you and they feel that, they don't take a chance. They don't do it, right? They go, man, I sure wish I could do that. I'm so proud for her, but I sure wish I could do that. And then there's some people that go, I'm gonna try it. Because they feel bold. They see you and they go, you know what, she did it. I felt like her. I listened to her story. I love her music. And you inspire people.
If you feel that inspiration like within you, take the step. Wow. Take the step.
Did you everybody hear that? What'd you say again?
If you feel that inspiration sparking inside of you, take the step.
Okay, I'm gonna add this in there too. Would you say that there's an age on this?
No.
All right.
And I said that really fast. I almost screamed no before you even finished the question. I believe living, like truly living, all of it, all that you want to live until you die.
Wow.
I mean, because, I don't know, the sacrifice is too painful.
Right.
To keep that all inside and to, man, it'll kill you.
When people try to discourage you, what's your approach to, you know, like going around that or dealing with that?
You know, I have to do this. I have to do this. This is mine.
Right.
This is me. This is what I get to do. I love when I say I'm in love, and my whole quest, I'm passionate about love. Right. And freedom. Right. And that's love in for humanity, which I am part of and one with, and the earth, which I'm also one with, and then also is freedom as far as like autonomy. Right. Like I'm not owned. Right. And I'm not owned by under any kind of like restrictive labels that society might say you're this age or you're a mom or you're not defined by any of that. Can't be defined by it. Would you prefer to be signed to a label or be independent? Independent. You like being independent. You love your freedom. I love my freedom. And you love owning your work? I absolutely love owning my work. I mean, I just made a video for my song that's called Why. And I mean, it's been on my album and released like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. But because I can do whatever I want, I just decided and was inspired to make the video in Italy just last month. Wow. And I can do that stuff. Did everybody hear that? Where did you go to shoot this video? Italy. Wow. You see where music can take you when you just let yourself be, right? And you're not controlled by anyone. Yeah. If you're with a label that says, I don't think we should shoot it in Italy. I think we should shoot it in the Bay Area. Then that's what you have to do because you're confined, right? But when you own your own music, who writes your lyrics? I write my lyrics. Wow. Yeah. I mean, where do these lyrics come from? Where do they derive from? Definitely triggered by just moments of great emotion and deep emotion that like moves you, like you have to explore this and get it out of you, like put it in a physical form of like a poem or song lyrics, or I mean, I don't even know what would happen. Like when you've got to write it out. It came to you. I look at it like definitely like a gift. And once you start that creative momentum, how the lyrics come in the middle of the night, or they just, you're driving, you've got to keep paper and stuff like right there. And it's been a little while since I've been in the creative writing mode, and I've been thinking about that.
Okay.
And it does, not that stuff hasn't come to me, but I haven't been honoring it because I've been kind of busy. So I'm definitely going to be taking a step back from the busy. I just turned down a few gigs and stuff because you have to have energy, and you have to take care of yourself when you're going to create from a,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a question for you. Do you enjoy more singing like covers, originals? What do you lean more towards?
The story goes back to 2016, and I was in New York City, and I just had it was just me and a friend from high school, and it was the first time I'd been away by myself for a while. And literally New York is just full of dreams, right? They're just you could almost cut them in from the air and eat them, or rub them on your skin, whatever.
Right.
They're just oh man, if you're open to it, it's very tangible. I loved how I felt. I was like, oh my God, I love this city. It just made me feel really alive. And it kind of, it awakened something in me. And I thought, what am I doing? I'm in someone else's band. I don't have a name. I mean, that's
wow.
I didn't come all this way and have all this sweat and equity to just sing covers the rest of my life.
Okay.
I'm this wasn't the dream, girl. And I woke up.
Wow.
I freaking woke up on that.
So that
trip.
was just out of the blue.
It was out of the blue from just being energized and lit up by this experience of remembering me.
Wow.
Because I didn't have to worry about anyone else on this trip but me. I stayed up super late, got up super early, was walking 20 miles.
Wow. You've been through a lot.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
And we ended up going to the Jimmy Fallon show.
Oh, wow.
Because
nice.
we met the Roots at a St. Patty's bar. And just just these incredible things kept happening. And then we were at the studio with them, and I totally insulted Tariq by comparing him to Lyrics Born, who I think is amazing, but I've learned you never do that.
That was bold.
I'd like to make a public apology statement and put my foot in my mouth, and
that was bold.
It was not wise.
You know what I learned too? Sometimes what you might think is complimentary, sometimes it's
Nope. I might as well have just shoved my finger in his eye.
I've actually had that happen to me before. But it was more with looks, and somebody compared me to somebody. It was more of an appearance thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't even think he's attractive.
I think that's what was going through Tariq's mind. He's what the hell?
I understand where he might have been coming from.
Well, he's I didn't create and become who I am to be compared to someone else. And this has been a thought on my mind recently, where it's the differences should be so celebrated.
Right.
In each one of us, we each of us is a masterpiece. So how is it that for so long and in so many ways, there is judgment, comparison, and opinions about what you should and should? It's you are a masterpiece. You are a Picasso.
Right.
So you can't say anything.
Right. Compared to no one.
No one.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I get it. I totally get it. I understand. But you know what? You learn these things along the way.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not something you come out just knowing. And you know what? You live and you learn. Right?
Yeah.
Tell me, what are some of the hardest lessons that you've kind of picked up on? And it's you know what? I learned from that. This will never happen again.
Yeah. I feel the biggest lesson was with boundaries.
Okay.
As far as not feeling like anybody else has any power over me. I mean, in that situation, I also, as far as with that producer, I had a fear that he would keep my music.
Right.
And and it made hard boundaries seem soft. Normally I'd punch you in the face.
Understand.
Do not.
Right. No, I
but
get
it's
it.
you have my song. I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable. I don't even ever have to be made uncomfortable by someone.
Right.
Right. Because it's that's bending my power, and I no.
Right. So in a lot of ways, you've learned along the journey too, not just musically. Yeah. It's spiraled into other parts of your life as well. Yeah, like boundaries, right?
And there's not resentment. I mean, I talk hard, like you hear changes in my voice when I'm like, and no, right. Because it was a powerful learning moment. Right. But I have nothing but like, I don't even think about it. Right. Like it doesn't define me. Right. I'm not a victim of anything. Right. I grew, and I learned, and I moved forward. Another thing that a hard lesson is that my album Love was distributed through the Orchard on someone else's account, and I don't have any access to it.
Wow.
So if you're a musical lawyer and you'd like to
one-on-one
call me
about that. That's a whole nother thing, but yeah.
I know. Wow. But that's a lesson learned, because someone told me that they were this person. I didn't do my homework. Okay. I got lazy about investigating and watching my own back. I just thought I could just, like, oh, well, that person said, so I'm sure it's fine. Right. And guess what? No. Wow. And now I don't know how to undo it, actually.
We'll talk.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Kimball.
Angie, I have to tell you this. I mean, we have a musical past, but I'm your friend as well. Mm-hmm. It always have been.
Yeah, I called you. Yes. I leaned on you after my moment.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I did the best I could to, kind of like heartfelt be there for you, because when you were hurting, I was hurting as well. I really did. And I just felt like I didn't know exactly what to do, but I wanted to at least comfort you, because I know what that's like to have your work stolen. Compromised, you know what I mean? Because I'm a creator as well, so I get it. I totally get that, and it bothered me that much, because the bond that you and I have, I still say have, not had, but have, it cut me, because I know what that's like to have that compromise. So that's a whole nother thing. We're gonna get back to this interview. Okay, but I have to say, the videos that you shoot, I like them because they tell a story, even if you look at it with no music. Talk to me about that. I'm serious. I'm looking fire. Yeah, I'm looking at that with no volume, and I'm like doing the cha-cha and all this salsa and all this. Talk to me about that. The color scheme, the visual behind it, the choreography. Who's in charge of all that? Where are all these concepts coming from?
So there was a lot of freedom in that. So I got to choose. I chose, all my own, outfits and things like that. I totally love J-Lo for her fearless, like, I'm going to do it because I can, right? Kind of thing. And so I just kind of wanted to push that out there with like lots of energy and flair, and I danced for 5.5 hours straight. It looks like my hair was maybe, somebody put water in it. That is 100% sweat.
I love it.
I was one of the people, beautiful. All the people in the video volunteered, as far as the other dancers, and different friends showed up. My dad's in it. My kids. You're gonna do this for mommy.
Family affair.
Total family affair. And then it was created by Peter Michael, and he lined up the club and stuff like that. It was such a rainy night, and everybody still showed up. My heart, I literally just cried at the end. I think because I was tired, and also just my gratitude just turned to tears of joy. It was beautiful. Wow. But it was my J-Lo moment.
Right.
Yeah, and I did some choreography with a dance instructor. I definitely put in the time and the money.
Right.
You
know what I like about you the most is you have like this no fear. You live what we see is not phony, and it's definitely not like scripted. You're just going by the moment. I love that, because we go back far enough where I met you, none of that had been done. None of that had been done.
Look at me, Kimball.
Right? I love seeing you grow. It's amazing to me.
It's so cool.
It's cool, because I remember even at those rehearsals that we had, the band rehearsals, we would sit and talk, and we were just talking. That's it. You were asking me questions, right? And you were like inquisitive about, because I had a project out at that time, and you were asking me these questions, and I'm like, she's gonna do it. I can see it in her eyes, and she's got that fire.
I know.
And it never died. It never stopped. All it did was get bigger. The flame it went from a baby flame to like this big, massive ball of sun fire. And I love it, because every time I look at YouTube or you share a video online, and I'm watching you, just like, wow, where the heck that come from? But you're doing it.
Yeah.
And so many people sit and talk about it and they don't do nothing about it. You're not one of those people. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's what I like about you the most. Because none of that can happen unless you just do it. You know, we can sit back and YouTube this and act like we're inquisitive about this, ask questions. That's fine. But at some point, you gotta get in the pool.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody swim and not get wet.
Yep. You do. You have to jump. You have to have a trust. I guess that's what faith is like life will show up. Right. You know, when you're feeling it, you have a vision and it's of such a purity. Now, if I feel like and I have, you know, maybe some people have gone after it in a different way, but I feel like the sincerity and the passion and the heartfelt, like, I've got to just do this. Like, it's like my soul is leading the way. Right. You know, created step by step, the unfolding and like people coming into my life at the exact moment and, you know, all of that stuff. I think if my intention was like, I'm going to be famous because I want people to like look at me and whatever. I don't know that the momentum would be there. And I think definitely not something that would last.
But that's not genuine.
To me,
it's a different reason, different purpose. You know, I want to be famous, I want to be popular, or I want people to like me, or that has nothing to do with music. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
No, it's true. You would think you know, it's like, is she trying to be a secret? How come she like makes a video and like posts it once? I mean,
yeah,
because I'm on to my next thing.
I mean, everything that you've told me we're sitting here is like really surrounded about like your work. Because what you love, it's the inner, you're introducing people to the inner who you really, really, really are. That's what I see, that's what I feel. To find someone that takes your project as serious as you do is priceless.
You know what I'm telling? Okay, so writing down your goals, right? So literally a week before I met Peter Michael, I was like, okay, all right, you know, listen up, universe. I'm just kidding. I was like, I want 10 songs. 10 top, like, you know, 10 songs, quality, right? You know, I want it to be done within 6 months. Okay. I want a producer who is as invested in it emotionally, you know, and quality wise, as I am. I've had a show with this other band. I ended up meeting Huey Lewis and the News hit their producer at this club, and I was like, is this gonna be my producer? Like, I started attracting producers.
Right. Then we all say that, right?
Right. So then, but no, he wasn't the one. So anyway, a friend of mine, Joey T, who has a group that's around the Bay Area, he had invited me to Pete Escovedo's debut or show for his, he had a CD coming out, and he introduces the band and he introduces his son Peter Michael as the musical director and producer, and I was like, is that gonna be my producer? Like literally like the day after meeting Huey Lewis's producer.
Right. And it tanked.
and that was like, yep. So I ended up having a conversation and it clicked from right away. Wow. I sent him everything I had. Wow. He had something in my inbox within like 2 days. And I was like over the moon, and that was that. Wow. Yeah.
So it wasn't a hard thing to establish. It was something that just kind of flowed.
Yeah, it was. It just flowed. It just flowed. Everything flowed, and the songs and the, you know, people on the album. I've got Paul Pesco on guitar. I've got Ramon Staniaro as guitarist on Y, who's amazing. Just all these, like they've played with just, you know, everybody, and thanks to Peter Michael having those connections and you know,
absolutely,
and feeling like I was, you know, worth it.
Exactly.
That made me feel so good.
Exactly. I mean, just when you say his name and, you know, the family legacy alone
They're so beautiful.
You know,
I love them. Juan is in the video.
But the family legacy speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? I mean, when you say that Escovedo name, obviously people know who, you know, Sheila is, right?
Yeah.
On down, Juan, you know, and just the whole, you know, Pops, right? Just the whole family legacy. And then you mentioned, you know, like Angie Maserati, and you put your name in that mix. It tells everyone like you're okay. Like you're one of those artists that they see at that level, a professional.
And the first thing you hear too is like, oh, you know, I've been following forever. Like you follow, and people, he has a following, and the family has a following because they're such great humans.
Yeah, that's true. They're just as people.
They're authentic. They're just what a great family.
Right.
And so if they welcome you in, it's like, well, I must not be that bad. I'm not the worst.
I'm not the worst. Don't be fooled. No. So where are we at now? Like present day, what are some of the projects that you have out now? What's the latest project that you have?
I released a few months ago a song called Long Days.
Long Days, okay.
And I started it in Detroit. Well, I had written it. And then I just say yes to things, which, you know, thankfully works out mostly. Okay. And so I went to Detroit. I worked with this artist. They're very much different style than I have, but I'm like, why not? Why not grow, see what this is about? I mean, and we ended up recording in some really cool songs, but not to the finished product, right? Okay. So it was a something started, but not something finished. Got it. So I actually initially thought I was going to go to this recording studio in Lafayette and work with a producer there. Oh my God, did the same thing as that other guy. Was like, well, I'm going to need to own this. And I was like, no, dude, there's other people who wrote it. I'm not going to, do wrong by the guys in Detroit. They're awesome. I love them. And so I called Peter Michael and I was like, first of all, Peter Michael, I'm so sorry I even thought about cheating on you.
Wow, that's crazy.
That was a mistake. And, help me. Right. And, he returned my call so quick and he's like, he can't do anything. You can just walk away. Yeah. I ate, a grand,
But so his level of love and compassion for your work is there, truly. Yeah. So he's loyal to you.
So beautiful to have him as a friend and producer. So I drove down to LA, it took me about 6.5 hours. It was the one day it rained in California this year. And that was that was the day I drove down. We, we had some pre-production via phone and passing files back and forth and stuff. So we were ready to go. I got there. We knocked it out in 2.5 hours. And I got back in the car and drove home. So that was a long day to record Long Days. Wow.
Is that why it's called Long Days?
No.
It's a coincidence, right? It just happened to be.
It's a coincidence. But it's so funny. It's like going down there, I had tons of energy. Recording it, tons of energy. Driving home, a ton of energy.
Right. Excited.
It's that joy. Right. It's like feeding that joy. And that's what just lights you up so much. So it's called Long Days. Right. And what the story is about
is it out yet? Or is it just
out?
It's out.
Yeah,
where can they find it? Where can people find it?
You can find it on YouTube and iTunes. Okay. And
so it's out.
Yeah, okay. Spotify, everywhere. All the digital platforms, it's available. I just created the video in Milan. Wow. Which was so magical. So on this trip, I actually shot footage for 4 videos.
You should move to Italy.
Well, yes, I agree.
I'm joking.
Thank you.
I didn't mean that.
When 2 or more are gathered in the same alignment.
Right. Biblical.
Let's go. It'll happen.
Right. Angie, we can't leave here without you singing live.
Okay.
You know I'm going to put you on the spot. You knew that was coming, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that. I mean, gosh.
I have to have you sing. I love hearing you sing live. I remember when you came to my gig in Napa. You remember that? You remember that?
Yeah.
And you showed up. And it was my show. And I'm like, she took the mic and everybody was like, you go, girl. And I'm like, it's my gig. This is real. That wasn't scripted either. I'm like, wow. I sat back like a fan watching you. I'm like, this is my gig.
I'm like, oops. No, just kidding.
Nah, actually, I don't sing Journey, so.
Yeah.
Right. I want to hear you sing. Can we all hear you sing?
Sure. Well, how about a little intro to Long Days?
All right.
Kind of thing.
All right. I like it.
I was so happy to create the video because it makes the story even that much more clear. Right. But of course it's to each individual, whatever it speaks to them. So, but this is a true story. This is how I really felt. I felt lonely when I wake up today, no makeup, fighting with myself. It's time for a breakup. Pushing past my fears, I've cried enough tears. I'm looking in the mirror and I like what's here.
Wow.
And that's just about it's not the physical mirror, right? It's the mirror of strength and everything that you've gathered.
But it's so authentic though.
To believe. Mm-hmm. To push through for yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's not a fight. Right. It's not a fight.
It's authentic. I love it because it's you. I feel it.
And it was breaking up with self-limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
It's time for a breakup. It's time to break up with all these beliefs that anything can stop me from doing what I'm meant to do, because nothing can. It's impossible. It's me.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You're not afraid to like put your emotions out there, right?
Yeah.
And who you are. Like you wear who you are on your sleeve.
Yeah.
You just sang to us, right? It doesn't get any like more emotional than that. Mm-hmm. When you put yourself out there like that. So many people feel, but they don't express.
It feels so good.
It feels good, doesn't it?
It feels so good to express. Like I can't,
but there's a level of vulnerability that you have to be comfortable with.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just, everyone can be vulnerable to themselves. Well, what is that? But when you're like, I'm going to go before these people, these strangers that I don't know, and tell my story, I'm going to sing it to them. Right? And they don't know you. You don't know whether they're going to boo you, love you, share you, like you, love you. You don't know anything other than I'm going to give them a piece of who I am.
Right.
And you have to be a certain person to do that.
Yeah.
Everyone can't do that. That's a gift in itself.
So vulnerability to me is also radiating who you are, allowing people to see who you are. And so I feel like I radiate an emotion or a vibe that is like, I come in peace.
Right.
I'm here to have fun.
Right.
I like you.
Right.
I want to have fun. I get on stage and I'm like, okay,
right.
Let's fall in love.
Right.
Like I'm here to feel love, to give love, and that's where I love to live.
But it takes a special person to do that, you know, because there's a lot of people who they sing and they sound good, but they're not vulnerable. Vulnerable is something. It's a different gift than the ability to just sing. You're not always vulnerable just because you're singing. You're telling a story of you, right?
You're right.
And it's not the same as, I learned this song last week. Want to hear it?
Right.
That's not being vulnerable.
It goes over, and when you're aware of that and that essence, that it's an essential ingredient to performing, I think. I mean, they call it X Factor, whatever. That's kind of a whatever
boy, that
term
X
now.
Factor is something else. It is.
But even with a cover song, like if I sing any cover song I sing, I have my own backstory,
of course,
infused in it, right?
Right.
And that's the difference between a singer and a performer. And,
right.
Yeah.
Angie Maserati, I want to say thank you for being on the KIMBALL HOOKER Show.
Wait, I could talk to you forever and ever. Don't stop.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Get it. Where can they find you? What type of like contact information? Where can people find you at?
Well, for people who like to follow people, fans
do.
I have a website, angiemaserati.com.
Okay.
And it has a show schedule. And that's one thing I have some shows coming up. Things come in every day. So that's a great place to connect. Also has links to all my social media, but Angie Maserati on Instagram and
any shows coming up?
Facebook. Yes. Saturday I'll be at Brewster's up in Petaluma.
All right.
Yeah.
I know Brewster's.
Brewster's Beer Garden.
Right.
I'm going to have some brewskis and sing and do what I love under some twinkling lights. It's going to be magical. And then Sunday I've got a private party and but yeah, I've got some stuff coming up. Some things, the schedule has shifted. I've had to take about 4 things down because of the mask mandate and you know, that kind of thing. But you know what? Can't stop me.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Do you prefer? I have one more question though too. Do you have a preference between like live and track?
I love live for all that it is, but I love track for the solid structure that I know I can count on. Right.
Right.
Because
I'm with you here on that.
Until you get until you get that polished band behind you that you know, is as invested in you. I should write that down. I should manifest that.
Because I noticed we share one thing in common, and that is we do live and we do track and band. I don't see a whole lot of people doing what you and I both do.
Yeah.
And I never talked to you about that. And I wanted to ask you that because people are shocked to hear me say what you just said, which is because they think, oh, it's got to be the band. Yeah, but if the band's not playing it right.
Yeah.
And it's not well rehearsed with which, then that track is like everything.
And vocally to sing in a quality and stuff of like a a track. Having a track and some live instrumentation around it is always kind of nice to add like a live music feel and on the stage with you. But you can express so many colors in your voice, and like, it's can be so magical when you can actually have it dialed in to where you can almost chew on your lyrics because they're just so present. Like you can use all of the crayons in your box.
Wow, I love that. Well said.
So yeah,
definitely.
Pretty cool.
Okay, cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have interviewed beautiful Miss Angie Maserati. Round the world. That's what I like to call you. Round the world. You have been around the world.
Like Pitbull, but
like Pitbull, right? That was my song, by the way.
Mrs. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. Mrs. Worldwide, right? And it was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone here at KCAT.
Here at KCAT 15 on the KIMBALL HOOKER Show, we're going to have a part 2. Do you mind coming back for part 2?
No, not at all.
I know there's so much more that we did not catch up on and talk about and other music that you have to share. But I just want to thank you for coming by, stopping, just blessing us with your voice, your talent, your music, your gift. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being my personal friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for everybody tuning in. Check out Miss Angie Maserati at www.angiemaserati.com, and you can catch all her updates, all her music, all her videos, and things of that nature. And once again, KIMBALL HOOKER Show.
You just heard the KIMBALL HOOKER Show here on KCAT Radio. Explore all our KCAT original programming at kcat.org/radio.